What's going on, YouTube family? This is Javon, owner and founder of Brooks Media Ads, and we're coming at you with another video. One of our clients just crossed over $200,000 in 4 months, and we want to break it down on how we was able to help her generate that number in 4 months with only just one small adjustment. We're going to be breaking it down here. I got a couple of slides I want to show you. So, of course, this one small adjustment that we made with her business helped her ultimately scale. When we first started working with Carla, she was generating anywhere between $5,000 to $8,000 a month. Then we came in, did some research on her competitors, looked at her whole system from the data tracking, the content, the ads, the systems on the back end, the whole 9 yards. And one thing that was so critical in her business was the data tracking. So a lot of service-based business owners have this data blind spot, right? So basically with that, a lot of business owners don't have a pixel. If you're wondering what is a pixel, you can basically look at a pixel as in this data tracking mega hulk, right? Like this invisible data tracking entity. Basically where if you have this entity on your website, landing page, or funnel, it's tracking all traffic that's being done on that specific platform. For example, if you ran an ad on Facebook and you starting to get a lot of Facebook traffic to your website, that pixel is tracking that. Why is that important? Is because you can actually start retargeting in regards to service-based businesses, e-com, any online business that you have. The power is going to come from retargeting, because let's just be real. How many times does it take you to watch something or look at something in order for you to be like, hey, I want to buy that, right? So you got to have pixels. So when it comes to any online business, you want to have a Facebook pixel, a TikTok pixel, a Snapchat pixel, even a LinkedIn pixel. You just want to basically think about every social media platform that you're on. You want to have that pixel installed on your site. Why? Because if you're creating content from this specific if you're creating content on these social media platforms, then guess what? Now, whenever you're driving organic traffic from that platform, from Facebook to your website, that pixel is tracking all of that data. Why is that important? Is because if you're doing this, you warming up your pixel to where you don't have to start off from the bottom. Meaning, a lot of business owners that run ads, you start off with cold traffic. If you have the pixel already installed, you can go ahead and skip that process. Okay. So basically, no pixel, no conversion, no measurement, no analytics, right? I spoke earlier about the pixels that you need in regards to Google, right? In regards to Google, you will need a Google Tag Manager. Okay. Within that Google Tag Manager, you'll need your G4 Analytics, also known as Google Analytics, right? Also, you're going to need your Google Ads pixel. Those are the main 3 things that you need to be tracking in regards to Google. It's super important because you're going to get a lot of traffic from Google along with all these other social media platforms. And the only way you're going to scale is if you have this data tracking set up. Okay. This is super, super, super important. Again, no data visibility. You're basically guessing. How do you know where the traffic is coming from? Do you know how old this traffic is? Meaning, do you know the age group? Do you know the gender? Do you know the demographics? Do you know how long it's been on your page? Like literally, it's data over everything. And if you don't have the data, there's no way that you can ultimately scale your business profitably to the numbers that you're trying to hit. Okay. So it's super important that you have that data tracking set up. Okay. Also, when it comes to tracking and tactics, right? So a lot of people often think that whenever you are running ads or you're shooting content and you're trying to push your brand online, a lot of people think the creative may be the problem if it's not working. The creative is not always the problem. People think that the offer is not good. That's why it's not converting. It's not always the issue. The real issue, again, is no clarity, right? And the solution for that is data infrastructure. Again, it's data over everything, right? So again, when you're running ads, the whole purpose of running ads is to collect data, point blank and period. Okay. So if you have those data tracking systems in place, you're tracking everything. If you don't, how can you tell if that creative is not working or not? How can you tell if that offer is not working or not if you have the proper data tracking set up? Okay. So it's super important that you have that in place. And again, with that being said, that was some things that we had to do for our client. Okay. Basically, she came in, she didn't have a Facebook pixel, didn't have a TikTok, didn't have a Snapchat or LinkedIn pixel, right? We had to install those specific pixels onto her site along with a Google Tag Manager, along with a Google Analytics, right? Along with a Google Ads pixel. So no matter where we are, we're tracking all data from all these social media platforms. Okay. With doing that, we was able to understand exactly where the drop off was. We were seeing exactly where the traffic was coming from in regards to the specific platforms, and we've seen the actual traffic that was converting. So once we saw what was converting, all we did was just double down on what was working and spent the money on what was working and spent less money on what was not working, right? Common sense, right? Common sense. But that is something, again, that needs to be implemented in order to ultimately scale. Okay. Boom. Right. So some metrics that drive growth, right? The cost per lead. If you're a service-based business, cost per lead in regards to what should be the average or the striving number in regards to cost per lead. With that being said, depending on the service industry that you're in and depending on your offer, that it varies, right? Of course, we all want a $5 or less cost per lead. But again, how qualified is that lead? You may be getting a whole bunch of leads, but are they converting? Are they warm leads? Like what kind of lead is it? And of course, I got another video in regards to leads and, warm leads, cold leads, in another video. So please be sure to check that out. But again, cost per lead, funnel drop-offs, okay? If they come into your funnel, where's the drop-off? Why they're not booking a call, or why they're not booking an appointment, or why they're not booking that webinar, right? And then, of course, the call booking, which is the conversion, and then the show-up rates. Those are the main metrics that we check along with others as well. I'm not going to go into extreme detail about that. If you want to get more details on that, I actually have a group. I actually have this paid group called Scale Society where we actually break all of that down into detail, and you'll have more access to ask questions to myself. So please be sure to check that out. But again, cost per lead, funnel drop-offs, call booking, and show-up rates. Those are some of the metrics that we check. Why does it matter? Of course, finding the leaks, optimize, and then scaling winners. You can't scale what you can't track. Ooh, that was cold. Hold up. Again, you can't scale what you can't track. Can I get a hallelujah? Amen. But that's real. Okay. So, boom, right? No tracking, no leverage. Ads, unsure results. If you don't have no pixels in place, no automation, no retargeting. Let me tell you something. You can always generate leads. Generate leads is not hard. You can create content having a hook, value, and call to action. And that call to action can drive leads to your business, right? You can run ads and drive leads to your business. But if we're not retargeting or not following up with those leads, we're wasting money, point blank and period. Okay. So just understand that part. Also, when it comes to predictability, if you don't have the proper data tracking set up, there is no predictability. Okay. Got to have that. Also, no attributions, meaning you're just pure guessing on what you're doing. You're basically throwing stuff at the wall, seeing if it stick. But guess what? It's not going to stick if you're not tracking nothing. Again, that is super important. Okay. Now, boom. Data activated. Basically, daily KPIs. What's your key performance indicators? Again, as a business owner, you should know your numbers. And if you don't, leave a comment, right? Book an appointment with me. I can help you understand your numbers and what you need to do in order to scale. Okay. Connected data, tag manager to a CRM. Yes, you will need a CRM system if you don't have one already. If you don't have one already, put a comment below, because every service-based business owner needs some type of CRM system in order to track their customers. That is super important. Okay. And then the daily optimizations, basically knowing your numbers, right? So again, these are some of the things that was implemented for our client that helped her generate from zero to $250,000 in 4 months. And I actually got a video here that's actually having her talk about it. Okay, here it goes. I don't got to say no more. You can listen to it right now.
Hello guys, I could not let another minute go by without sharing this exciting news. Before we started, I was struggling to attract new clients. I was struggling to grow sales. We have noticed an increase in leads, an increase in customer engagement with significant boost in our online presence and sales. And today I'm happy to report that in the 4 months we have been able to generate over $222,000 in sales. You heard me right, $222,000 in sales in the 4 months that I've been working with them, and that has only been with part-time effort on my part. Javon has been professional, responsive, and he has been truly invested in my success. My business is on a much stronger path forward. I could not be more grateful with their expertise and support, and I look forward to potential growth.
Boom. So as you see, I don't got to say nothing. They speak for me, right? Beautiful. Real results. Again, that's what happens when you have a pixel in place, tag manager in place, and analytics. You get results. Okay. So again, track it or trash it. The pixels equals clarity. Analytics helps you make decisions. And tag managers help you grow. Okay. No tracking equals gambling. Okay. And these are just some of the things, because again, it was a whole system, but this one simple trick helped me with this client generate over $200,000 in 4 months. In 4 months. And it can happen to you too. And if you actually got some value from this call, I want you to drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment, show some love, man. I'm going to be dropping a lot more value-driven videos here on YouTube because I ain't gonna say a lot. I ain't gonna brag, but you know, I got a good amount of testimonials. Like I said, we generated over $20 million in documented revenue. It's documented. And I'm gonna be talking to give you a lot more stories, storytelling, talking about our wins and some of the tricks and trades that we did in order to generate these results. Like I said, if you want more information, right, I'm gonna have a link below. We have a group called Scale Society where you can join. You know, we give out free game every day. Okay. And also, if you want to actually have more one-on-one time for me, I actually have I'm gonna leave and if you want more one-on-one time with me, I will drop the link below and I'll do an audit on your business to see exactly where you are and what you can do to get your business to another level. And I'll see you on the next video.